Gerard, great to chat to you. I just want to first off say the American economy, they always say elections are about the economy. You know, it's what the people feel the economy is going. What is the American economy like, and does it really have an outcome in this election?
Well, it's mixed, right, because you have undoubtedly good, solid growth. We've had good, strong growth in the US economy for the last few years. The economy has recovered all of the losses that it had in the pandemic, much better than any other economy in the world, actually. Unemployment is low, growth has been strong, so it's actually been relatively a good performance. The flip side, the downside is that, of course, we've had inflation. Like everywhere in the world has had inflation. But here in the United States, you know, prices went up on average by about 20% from early 2021 to now. And people feel that. They feel that much more in effect when they feel like, you know, whether the unemployment rate is going up or down a little bit, because they go to the stores, they go to the shops every day, and they see that prices have gone up by much more. You know, we had this long period, as the rest of the world did, long period of basically flat prices. And then we had this surge in inflation after the pandemic, probably made worse by some of the policies of the Biden administration. Prices went up, wages didn't go up initially by as much, and they've just about caught back up. Average wages have caught back up with prices. So that's in political terms, that's the most important thing, that people feel that they haven't enjoyed the real wage gains that they are used to because there's been this big surge in prices.
But the odd thing is, normally governments get thrown out here, Australia, around the world, if unemployment spikes. Unemployment has not spiked. People have jobs to be able to afford those price increases. But that doesn't seem to be playing out in these election campaigns.
Correct. So unemployment again is low, it's stayed low, it's around about 4%, which is, historically quite low. The problem is, again, we've been in historically unusual circumstances in the last 5 years. We haven't seen inflation as the kind of inflation we've seen right now since the 1970s. So, and in the 1970s, inflation was a scourge, and inflation, toppled governments everywhere in Europe, in Asia. So, and that's what we've been back to here. We've seen this surge in inflation, the highest rate of increase of prices that we've had since the 1970s. And that makes everybody feel, whereas unemployment, as bad as it is, typically, even when it's really bad, only affects a relatively small proportion of the population. Inflation affects everybody. Everybody goes to the store and they see that the price of eggs and milk and washing detergent has gone up by 20, 25, 30%. And they feel that has a big impact. And that's why opinion polls tell us that Americans feel very bad about the state of the economy, even though we've had growth and relatively low unemployment.
So you've written that Donald Trump, when he left office in 2020, approval rating 34%, really in the cellar. You also have said he should not have been able to politically recover. He has been able to politically recover. And you've said it's due to basically the ineptitude of the Democrats, almost really the calling out of the deplorables, as Hillary Clinton would have called it.
Look, Donald Trump, exactly, 2021, after January the 6th and the horrors that happened around then, was dead and buried politically. He was gone, right? He had as you say, a historically low approval rate. People understandably thought what happened at the end of his presidency was terrible. The Democrats had an amazing opportunity, having been elected, Joe Biden been elected, to heal the country, to bring together and actually to drive a stake through Donald Trump's political heart. But they failed. They didn't do that. They did all kinds of things. They spent a huge amount of money, which helped inflation rise, as we've talked about. They opened the border, so we've had this massive influx of illegal immigrants in the country, which people are very unhappy about. They kind of messed up on foreign policy. The withdrawal from Afghanistan in August of 2021 was an absolute disaster. And on top of all of that, they then tried to sort of secure their political advantage by going after Donald Trump. They went after him with these lawsuits, tried to criminalize what he'd done. So they actually gave him an opportunity which he really didn't have back in the beginning of 2021. And that's the reason. I think the Democrats honestly are responsible for the fact that they are responsible more than anybody for the fact that Trump is back, and Trump may well be elected, just about to be elected president.
So if you look back to when Trump was the president, do you sense that he learns from that term, if he does become the next president of the United States, that he learns in terms of the way in which he runs the administration and the way in which he even runs the US economy?
Yeah, no question. He was elected in 2016. He wasn't expecting to be elected. It was a surprise. Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. His team thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. He hadn't really prepared himself for office. So it was kind of an ad hoc administration in many ways. He hired people that, happened to be available, Republicans that were available, some of his close friends and family and all of that kind of stuff. This time around, they've been preparing. He's been preparing. He's got a much clearer plan about what he wants to do. He expects to win. He's got people who are fiercely loyal to him and will support him. So, yeah, he has a pretty clear idea. Now, it has to be said, and this is the other context we're dealing with, that the economy under Trump, certainly from 2017 to 2020, before the pandemic hit, was in great shape. We had no inflation, we had low unemployment, we had strong growth, stock market was incredibly good, the world was at peace, at relative peace. So that period works out very well for the Americans. This time around, we'll see. I mean, he's got plans that, economic plans that I think could be quite disruptive for the economy. I think he's got a lot of political plans that he'll pursue. He'll definitely crack down on immigration, which the American people want. He may also have plans to pursue his own, if you like, kind of personal vendettas against people, and I think people are worried about it.